Riva, for the introduction. Now, would you like to start with the questions?
Yes, sure. Okay, so my first question would be for Tess. Tess, are you listening?
Yeah, you are not audible properly. Can you be a little louder?
Hello?
Yes, now you're audible.
All right, my first question is for Tess. So, Tess, are you listening? Am I audible to you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So, in your opinion, what are the hurdles that the students of Pakistan are facing regarding the education sector overall?
Sure. So I think to start, maybe I'll talk a little bit about what Malala Fund does, and then I can focus
Yeah,
specifically.
sure. Please.
Yeah. So Malala Fund champions every girl's right to 12 years of free, safe, quality education. And the organization was founded by Malala Yousafzai and her father, Ziauddin. There are 130 million girls who are out of school around the world today. And because of the COVID-19 pandemic, Malala Fund estimates that an additional 20 million more secondary school age girls could be out of school after the crisis has passed. So that's just a little bit about the global challenges we're facing in terms of girls' education. But the reasons girls are out of school really vary between countries and communities. So in some places it's poverty, conflict, gender discrimination, child labor, child marriage, long distances to school. So Malala Fund is working to break down those barriers. And one of the ways in which we do that is by investing in the work of local education activists in the countries with the most girls out of schools. So we believe that local leaders are the people who are best placed to identify the problems that girls are facing in their communities and then develop solutions. So in Pakistan specifically, we invest in a number of local educators and activists who are advocating for increased government spending on education, ensuring that there are more girls' schools and more female teachers, helping parents and communities understand the benefits of girls' education, and also helping girls access STEM education. So I would say that kind of some of the barriers that I just mentioned, that some of the reasons girls are out of school, there's not enough schools to attend because there isn't enough government investment or because there are really high tuition fees. So one of Malala Fund's education champions in Pakistan, Ariba, she works with the organization Pakistan Youth Change Advocates, which Abir, I think that you know. And so she really focuses her work on increased government investment so that there are more schools for girls specifically after primary school. So if you look at in KP specifically, there are 1.6 million out-of-school girls, which is twice the number than out-of-school boys. And this is because that there are only 10,000 schools for girls compared to 16,000 schools for boys. We have another champion, Zara, who's working with the Pakistan Coalition for Education. So she's advocating for an amendment to the Constitution that would increase the national requirement from education from 10 years to 12 years, which would help more girls complete their full secondary education. So anyways, those are just some of the barriers. I know I talked for a long time.
I think you were talking about Zara when you said you were going to replace yourself with another representative. I think you were talking about her.
Sorry, say that again?
When you were talking about replacing yourself with other person who's going to be a Malala representative, so I think you were talking about her.
Oh yeah, I wanted someone else to be here today other than me. Just
you weren't sure about that you would be able to answer the questions.
But I'm going to do my best, so I'm glad to be here.
It's not a quiz or an examination. It's a kind of discussion. It's just your opinions. We want to know your opinions. What you think. It's not an exam, so you don't have to be worried or scared. You just have to give your opinion. What do you think?
Well, anyways, so those are some of the barriers that Malala Fund is specifically addressing in Pakistan. So
yes, I can agree with you because I have been with Malala Fund for a bit. I have heard about this stuff, and at a point I was really close to Malala Fund when I was working with you when you were writing this stuff about me. I read the quite articles about the Malala Fund that have been working with girls. I mean, their achievement is marvelous. I have read the work. I have seen the work. I can assure you guys. So, I think, Sami, it's your turn.
Yes, I would like to ask Ariba Siddiqui, what is the current situation in Pakistan like with regards to out of school children? Has there been any significant progress in the last few years?
Okay, so currently Pakistan has the world's second highest out of school children, which estimates to about 22.8 million kids, aged 5 to 16, and that these kids are not attending school, which makes up for about 44% of the entire population of that age group. That being said, Article 25A was implemented a few years ago, which uh, enables the Constitution of Pakistan obligates the state to provide free and quality education for kids these age. But there are a lot of underlying reasons which is what holds these kids back from availing that education. The current out of school situation is sort of improving, but it's not the best right now. Current government of PTI, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, has been ensuring and implementing a policy known as the National Education Policy Framework, which is aiming to decrease the amount of out of school children that are currently present in Pakistan. And as Tess mentioned earlier, these include girls at a higher rate than boys, and probably twice and thrice the times that boys are out of school at the moment. There have been certain steps that have been taken to improve the out of school children's situation, and PTI has been making sure that they try to increase school participation, ensure uniform education, as well as improve quality and enhance access to those in rural areas or unable to sort of avail technologies to um, receive their education. And they also highlight the relevance of skill training at this point, but these are just agendas they've set forward and not really being implemented to their utmost capability right now. Their main focus is to improve infrastructure and sort of introduce afternoon shifts and formulation of innovative solutions. As Tess mentioned earlier, there are not a lot of spaces for children and especially women to study at this point. Like she mentioned, the number 10,000 schools to 16,000 for boys. So PTI focuses on increasing schools capacity of children that can be enrolled in schools and can ensure that these kids are well. Okay, so they also, after providing spaces for schools for children to attend these schools, they're also ensuring improved facilities so that there is a higher number of retention for students and willingness to attend school. This also includes a lot of transportation and technological facilities, which a lot of kids that belong from rural areas do not have access to. There has been a campaign that was introduced by the previous government in affiliation with the previous government, which is known as the Benazir Income Support. And that aims to provide a stipend fund for girls so that they can receive a higher, they also have a higher budget to achieve or the education that they're aiming to receive. Programs like Talimi Kalakar and Teach for Pakistan have also been introduced so that these problems can be faced and head on. That should be all.
Thank you so much, Ariba. That was a very wonderful description about the question, and I agree with every word you said. I would like to introduce Wakar Sheikh. He just joined in. He was a little late. So, can you hear me out? Assalamu alaikum. Hello. So, you're muted. So, you are muted.
Check now.
Yes, yes, you're audible. You're late.
I am really sorry. Due to an uncertain condition, I was heading towards the police station. Something bad has happened with my friend, but due to this commitment, I had to receive.
No, it's okay. If that's more important, it's okay. It's okay. I totally get it.
I can add my part here. That's not.
Okay, then it's now your turn actually for the question.
For the introduction as well.
Sir, give a bit of introduction about yourself. Who are you? How do I know you?
Basically, primarily, I am a computer scientist. Graduated from FAST back in 2017, and I've been working in Nisam Technology, the US-based company, as a backend developer for around 3.5 years. And Secondary, I have been associated with performing arts for around 6 or 7 years as an theater artist and a writer, actor, poet, a little bit of musician as well. Won so many national awards, national recognition, and working with the web series and writing up my own film as well. This is the small kind of introduction I can give. And how do I know you? Obviously, you are my one of the most brilliant students at Iqra University. The session I conducted of acting over the past semester. So this is my introduction. Nothing much
Okay,
to tell
that was
about
too kind,
myself.
Shawakar. That was too kind. Anyways, I think it's your turn to, answer the questions.
Uh, I I can
Okay,
talk
Omar.
about the
Omar.
top.
Sir, my next question is
Yeah.
from you. It is often claimed that Pakistani parents do not wish to send their children to school, especially girls. Is there is any evidence
Omar,
of such?
repeat it slowly because he's outside, so he might not
Okay,
hear it
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
properly.
I,
Repeat it
I, I
slowly.
heard it. I heard it. I heard it. Thank you, Umar. Thank you. Basically, you were asking about me the evidence. Yes, I have seen it from my eyes as well. I have been traveling a lot in Pakistan, throughout Pakistan, interior side, mostly northern areas, Balochistan. I have been to lots of places in Sindh as well. They are so much surrounded with this kind of mentality that children are not meant to be educated, especially girls. Girls are not born to be an educated personality of the society. They just wait for them to become 16 or 18 so that they can easily get marriage away from them. So it's so common in northern areas or in interior. People are wrongly connected to religion. I am not hitting to them directly. Obviously, they are more practiced Muslim than us, but this mindset should be uh,
Should be
drive
changed.
away by us that uh, children are children should go to school. And basically there the problem is that with the government as well, with the concerned authorities as well, people living in those states are so much surrounded by poverty. And this kind of mindset as well, being growing up that as barber's son should be a barber, farmer's son should be a farmer, so they have to uh, uh, carry away the legacy of the family, so they don't put so much focus on his studies and education. uh, I have seen it from my eyes.
Now over to you, Karam. Karam,
That's
are you
true.
there?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are correct.
Yes.
Sorry, I have not introduced myself. My name is Karam Khan and I am doing BBA from Iqra University. So my question is for Tess. Is Tess audible?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So my question is for you. Is it enough to get children in school? What can be done to improve quality education and learning outcomes?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question and something that Malala Fund focuses on specifically, that it's not enough just to get girls in school. We have to make sure that the quality of what they're learning is there. And so education needs to be engaging and relevant. And I think that improving STEM education is a really important part of that. So in many schools around the world, schools lack STEM teachers or functional, science labs due to insufficient funding or just gender discrimination, that girls are generally discouraged from studying these subjects. So a number of our champions are working to address this. In Pakistan specifically, we support an organization called the PAC Alliance for Math and Science Welfare Trust, and they're encouraging provincial policymakers to increase their budgets for girls' education to address this shortage of STEM teachers, particularly in post-primary government schools. We have another organization that we support called Pakistan Science Fuse, which is challenging these biases that girls shouldn't be studying STEM. So they're hosting digital events, conducting social media campaigns where they raise awareness about female scientists who are doing amazing things. Because, you know, for girls, you don't see yourself, unless you see someone else in that career or doing that subject, it's hard for you to be able to picture yourself doing it too. And so it's about raising awareness about female scientists and showing girls that these are subjects for them as well. So I think that that's just one aspect of improving the quality of education in terms of helping prepare girls for any career that they want to pursue, and also preparing them for the jobs of the future, because kind of STEM is going to be an important part of whatever career they decide to go in.
Are you done?
Okay, thank you so much, Tess.
Thank you so much.
My question is for you, Ariba. What do you think is the ideal role of the NGOs in the promotion of education in Pakistan?
Okay, so NGOs play a major role in promotion of education in Pakistan, and they focus mainly, Pakistan's even supported by UNICEF, who also implemented and sort of advocated for expansion of quality education, focusing on early childhood education, which is ECE, and considered one of the most important parts of an NGO and implementing their sort of learning. Excuse me. Yeah, and also UNICEF also introduced alternative learning pathways and encouraged schools and parents to sort of implement that in their day-to-day lives. But there's a lot of lack of awareness from the side of from the people, and it's not their fault. It's not the fact that they don't want to learn or not willing to learn. It's just that the conditioning of our society and the focus that has been laid upon just sort of carrying the legacy, as mentioned earlier. NGOs sort of try to focus patients to avail education or consider its importance. So family literacy plays a huge role here, and NGOs are ensuring that families are being given that awareness and being taught about the importance of education so that they can break free from the vicious cycle of poverty, as we call it, in Pakistan. A lot of, I think the highlight of not being able to avail or willingness towards availing education is the poverty cycle. And a person who is earning probably $1.50 or 300 rupees, as we call it in Pakistan, on a daily basis will not be focusing on paying expensive fees for schools. A person who is going through overpopulation and has probably 10 children of their own will not be considering education as a basic necessity for them. So to create awareness, it also comes along with different values and ideas and instilling them into the minds of these parents and children. And yeah, it promotes wellness overall. And it also reduces the number of dropouts that we see every year in Pakistan. And it's the one main highlight, I believe, for this entire situation where NGOs play a huge role is that they provide training facilities for teachers, which is crucial. There are no psychological evaluations for teachers before they are hired in schools in Pakistan. Lots of them also sort of have little or no training at all in areas like these, which is key. And if the person that is teaching you or heading a class or is a role model for these children and does not know how to go about that entire process in a manner that would sort of promote wellness or implement in a way that the children are actually learning from it rather than not having the willingness to attend school. So once the teacher is committed to that cause and has the right amount of training, it also creates a willingness from the students to actually be in that class and have the interest in actually learning and availing all that information that has been given to them rather than just taking it as another task or duty. That should be all.
Okay, I guess it's Abir's turn. Over to you, Abir.
Okay. Is it my turn to ask?
Yeah. I guess.
Okay. So my question is for Silvakar. Sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Hello, Silvakar. I think he lost his connection because he was sitting in a car. So we can shift to Tess again. Sorry, Tess. Your turn came fast.
Faster than expected.
So Myra, it's your turn. Go ahead. Myra.
I don't know.
Hello? Hello,
Hello.
Myra.
May I?
Yeah, sure. Name. Go ahead.
Yes, my question is for Ariba Siddiqui. Sorry, my webcam is not working properly. So my question is
That's
that
all right.
why can't be the poor children go to private schools?
Sorry, would you be able to repeat yourself because I did not hear
Name,
what you
you are
said
not
clearly?
properly audible. Can you, increase your voice?
Okay, so am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay, so my question is, why can't be the poor children go to private schools?
Okay, so when we talk about how vulnerable or poor households do not have the access to private schools, it mainly is a combination of socio-cultural and economic factors that come in play over here. It's not that they don't want to, it's just that the expensive fees, the lack of facilities, the lack of materials, learning materials, and accessibility issues like transportation and children that are living in rural areas and have to travel maybe 6 hours on foot to come to school. It's not feasible for them in that way. And apart from some socioeconomic reasons that I am going to highlight include, like I mentioned earlier, the lack of resources and funds. A lot of parents do not encourage their children to go to school if they come from a poor household because, again, they're trying to earn money to live on a day to day basis rather than think about the long term. They do not have that sort of facility for them to actually think about their future in a way where they can save up and actually send their children to school. Overpopulation is one of the major reasons as well. Like I mentioned earlier, if a family has maybe 7 to 8 children in the household, they won't be able to provide education for um, all of those children. And private education in Pakistan is quite costly. I can guarantee you that a lot of 70% of the population in Pakistan will not be able to afford the private education. The fact that government bodies are not implementing proper regulation inside government places, schools, and colleges where they should be providing quality education, that also sort of presents the idea to parents that okay, fine, as long as our child is enrolled in school, if they are, that is, should be okay. They do not understand the importance of the quality of education, the quality of faculty that has been sort of hired there to teach or train the children or provide them information regarding various subjects around the world. The education that is sort of being given in government schools is very limited in a manner that it does not prepare the child for the real world. It does not enhance skills. It does not enhance their thinking capabilities to sorry to sort of handle problems that we are facing in the real world. And there's a lot of again, the main reason that poor children are unable to attend private schools is funding, lack of awareness, lack of willingness from parents, the fact that they're stuck in this vicious cycle of poverty where they're trying to provide for their family on a day-to-day basis. I don't think their main focus would be sending their children to private school when they're just trying to make do for the entire day, like feed their family thrice a day or like twice a day in many cases, and in many cases even once a day. So to attend private schools, there are a lot of external costs as well, from transportation to facilities to technological reasons, where a lot of children in such households do not have access to technology which they can avail, especially during the pandemic. If even if they were to be enrolled in private schools or could afford it, or like even if it was a government school, they would not be able to access and sort of attend classes the way with proper concentration like they're meant to, because of the environment around them, because of the lack of technological resources, etc. So this is one of the main reasons that I believe, yeah, poor children are unable to attend private schools because they get into a cycle of just trying to make do every day and earn just to survive for the next 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. They don't have a long-term plan in that way.
Thank you so
That's,
much.
Thank you for your
that's
question.
true. That's true, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tess, now your turn again.
I'm ready.
Okay, Amira, go ahead. Why is Myra not listening? Ruhi, would you like to ask Tess a question?
Yeah, sure. Okay. um, how do you think we can motivate students in poverty to educate themselves or to, like to grab their attention towards studies or education?
Yeah, I think that that really ties into the last question in terms of improving quality of education. So I think that that's quality education is the most important way, in my opinion, to motivate students from any background. Education needs to be engaging and relevant. It needs to kind of talk like what Ariba talked about. It needs to address the skills and the tools that students need to succeed in the future. So a recent Malala Fund report found that almost 1 billion girls around the world lack the skills to succeed in the future labor market. And so that's just showing us that what students are learning in school are not preparing them for the future. So I think that quality education needs to be reflective of students and their experiences. It also needs to be gender responsive. So teachers need to ensure that they're not reinforcing gender stereotypes and that they're supporting male and female students equally. And I also think that there's just a lack of awareness from a lot of girls in a lot of communities about the benefits of girls' education. You know, girls' education obviously is a human right, but there's also so many benefits that it brings to girls, their families, their communities. Girls' education strengthens economies and creates jobs. Communities are more stable and can recover faster after conflict when girls are educated. There's a research study that showed that when a country gives all girls secondary or all children secondary education, they cut their risk of war in half. Educated girls are healthier citizens who raise healthier families. So educated girls are less likely to marry young and they're less likely to contract HIV, which means that they'll have healthier families. And investing in girls' education is good for our planet. The Brookings Institute, which is an important research organization, calls secondary schooling for girls the most cost-effective and best investment against climate change. And so I think that in general, when we're talking about girls' education, we need to talk about all of these benefits more and not just that it is a human right, which obviously it is, but I think that that's not going to convince people who maybe aren't interested in investing in girls' education or don't understand the benefits. We need to show why our world is safer, healthier, and wealthier when girls go to school.
Yeah, that's really true, Tess. Thank you so much. Would you like to ask a question, Umar, to Ariba? Because I want to ask the last question to both of them.
If you have no issue, I want to ask a question.
Do you have a question for them?
I have a question for Ariba Siddiqui.
Be a little louder, Umar.
Well, I want to ask a question from Ariba Siddiqui. Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. My question is, what is the reason behind the storage of learning materials in rural areas of Pakistan?
Okay, so again, like I referred to earlier, the lack of learning materials does apply to kids that belong from poor households in rural areas, obviously. No trained faculty, obviously no funds. You don't have. There is a lot of corruption in schools, government-based schools as well, where teachers are not really focused on the well-being of the child or making sure that they're learning or in a healthy environment to actually avail the information that they're been given. There is a sort of focus on profit, or just because they're not paid enough, or just because there's not a lot of training for the faculty that is present over there. That does lead to a lot of teachers not being interested or that invested in giving back to the children the way they're meant to. Lack of psychological evaluation as well, just because these learning materials also sort of suffer due to the fact that, again, teachers are not psychologically evaluated before they are hired as teachers to provide education to these children. And there's also a very strong detective examination system that exists within these rural areas. And sorry, okay.
Whoever mic is unmuted, kindly mute it, please, because speaker cannot speak. Mute your mics, please. Everyone. Yes, Ariba, go ahead.
Due to the assigned inadequate budgets that has been sort of put at aside for these educational institutions, there is a lack of implementation of these policies that the government does say that are meant to provide, like Article 25A again. So it ensures that children aged from the age of 5 to 16 shall receive education, no compromise on the quality or any sort of accessibility issues. However, it's very hard to implement these.
Ariba, I would like to, wind up because this meeting we don't have that,
We have a minute
premium,
left. Yeah, I just
premium
realized.
version. We don't have premium version yet. Only our university have it. We don't have it. So I would like to kindly thank you both of the guests. And Sawakar is not available. Thank you so much, Tess, for coming in, giving your time out. And I think it's really early over there. But thank you so much for giving your precious time. And thank you so much, Ariba, managing your schedule for us. It was an honor to have you both.
Lovely.
And thank you everybody
Lovely.
else who is here and participating. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thanks for organizing
Thank you
us.
so much,
Thanks for
everyone.
having me. And Ariba, it was great to hear you speak.
It was lovely to hear you and finally get to see you. Thank you guys. Thank you, Tess, and thank you, Abir, for this lovely opportunity.
Thank
You
you.
guys are welcome. Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.